Good evening and welcome to another episode of Mr. Wilson Live. This is, of course, volume 69, and it is said to be a really interesting lineup. Why it is such an interesting lineup? Because we have about three more lessons before we get to the end of the syllabus. So I'm really happy to be here. I was not here on is it Wednesday? I wasn't here on Wednesday. It was really a little more than I could have managed. So I just didn't show. But nonetheless, I'm still going to be covering all that was planned to be covered by now on the 18th. So no need to worry, no need to panic. All right. So how was the show on Wednesday and Sunday? How many persons saw that show on Sunday with the art of meditate? Anybody saw that show? I'm seeing some new persons in the room. Roxanne, are you new? Lydia, are you new? Roxanne, Lydia, are you new? Are you hearing me, guys? I tend to use this to test what's happening, but I'm seeing no one responding, so I'm not too sure if you're hearing. Oh, there's a log. Oh, Felix, good evening. Felix, can you hear me? Felix, can you hear me? Just let me know what's happening. All right, let me check it here. Okay, great. So I am hearing on the monitor over there. Okay, loud and clear. Robinson, are you new? All right. Whether we are new or we are old, it doesn't really matter. The great thing is that you're here, and I'm happy for you. I'm happy for the fact that you have joined us this evening. We are going to be looking at, of course, garbage disposal, particularly solid waste. We want to talk a little bit about land, as it were, for pollution. Now, there are many, many ways in which the land can be polluted, and I'm just going to be very quick. I'm going to be asking you a whole lot of questions for the first part of the show, so you need to get your the Google browser open so that we can start and you can provide some of the information that will be needed as we move through the show. So land can be polluted by solid, liquid, and of course gas. You would have known about the gate of hell. I don't know if I gave you that field trip. The gate of hell is this landmass, this cavity that they thought that having lit that area, it would have burned the methane or the gas that was emitting. Uh, Ever since then, it is still burning now. So you could look for the gate of hell on the internet to see what it is like. I'm not too sure if this is affecting you. To see what it's like. I'm not getting the energy. I want to start, but I have to start with that energy. I'm not getting the energy. I'm not getting the energy. So let me just start over again and see if I can find it. All right, I'm going to start from the top. Cheryl, good evening. Are you there? Roxanne, good evening. Lydia, good evening. Felix, good evening. Robinson, good evening. I am seeing Felix again. I'm seeing Audrey, and I'm seeing De Sosa. Good evening to you all. Are you ready for the show? Let me have a big yes or a big no. It's Friday evening. Are we ready for the show? I'm not too sure. Okay, great, 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 great. I like that energy. All right, let's just jump right into the show. So we're going to be looking at refuse disposal. When we talk about refuse disposal, we're particularly looking at solid waste, right? Solid waste, refuse from home, refuse from industry, and how they are managed and how they are supposed to be managed. Now, we want to start off by talking about the two big groups that they might fall in. They could fall in organic waste or inorganic waste. I want you to tell me in the chat what would have been the difference between organic waste versus inorganic waste. And then we could again put them in other groups to look at renewable versus, biodegradable versus non-biodegradable. So we are looking at waste, and I want you to assist me here. I want to know, what would we consider to be organic waste? What would we consider to be inorganic waste? And of course, I love to find out what is considered as biodegradable versus non-biodegradable. As you move forward with your human and social biology or biology, you might choose to venture out into what's happening this evening? Into environmental science. And of course, this bit of information is going to be very critical moving forward in managing waste that is generated at home and industry. So you're going to tell me in the chat, organic waste, inorganic waste, biodegradable, non-biodegradable. Great. Now, we have some solid waste that are major problem in the Caribbean. And these you're supposed to know because usually, more so for the bio students, they are always on your paper. So the solid waste that we're particularly interested in are things like paper, things like plastic, things like metal, glass, and textile. Textile, the same thing called fabric, clothing, fabric. Good. So these are the chief pollutants, are our major solid waste pollutant in the Caribbean. I'll repeat, paper, major problem. A lot of boxes, a lot of packaging, all that, they are made from paper. Then we have the plastic that is used to wrap that paper so that it is not penetrated by water and that it is properly locked and not easily accessible as it is transported. Then we have the metals. Metals, tin, you name the different type of metal. We have those metals that are used in construction. They are used to manufacture equipment in the house. They are used to manufacture motor cars. And as soon as these things become broken, they are disposed of. So you understand that metal also becomes a problem. Then we have glass. We want to see things, we want things to be transparent. So we want to see through. We want to be able to see from here to there and that type of a thing. But we want to be able to have good coverage of things, be it the house, be it in a container, be it that it's a storage, it's for storage. Glass is popularly used. And when we're finished with it, usually it is disposed of. So that becomes a problem because it becomes a waste if the amount that is generated is coming to that landfill or to that land space faster than it can be removed. Now, biodegradable from the SOSA is, of course, waste that can be broken down by microorganisms. Now, being that we're doing biology and HSB, we are going to move away from the realm of microorganism and be a little more specific. So we could now talk about these microorganisms being decomposers. I want to use the word that is in the syllabus. Somebody asked me when CXC sent out the broad topic, what's decomposer? What are they talking about? So this is a good opportunity to talk about decomposers. Biodegradable material, they are broken down by decomposers. What are examples of decomposers? Examples of decomposers would have been your bacteria and fungi. All right. So remember, they said that this is going to be on your exam paper, bacteria and fungi. We're going to look at them again into the show. We're going to probably dive a little deeper to show how these organisms help to recycle nutrient in the environment. So it's particularly important that you understand that the decomposition or for any organic waste to decompose, of course, we need the help of decomposers. Now, for the students who are doing biology, you need to go a little further than decomposers. Now, you need to look also at detritivores. All right? Now, detritivores are larger than decomposer. And our detritivore, they refer to things like worms, wood lice, millipedes. Those are actually detritivore. So we have detritivore, we have decomposers, and these two, they are working on the organic remain to break them down so as to release that nutrient so other organisms can use them, particularly the plant. Now, when we put the decomposers and the detritivore together, they come in a big group now that we refer to as saprophytes. So now we're talking about the third type of nutrition, which we say that it is saprophytic. So the saprophytic nutrition refers to organism that is feeding on dead and decaying organism. Beautiful. You see how we went right back up to nutrition, and we're coming from garbage disposal, and I just took you right back up to the food chain, right back to nutrition. Let me look at what's happening here. Organic is water supply that is contaminated by, I'm not too sure where this is going, Felix. I'm not too sure where that is going, Felix. Sorry. Non-biodegradable waste cannot be broken down by microorganisms, so it remains in the environment for a pretty long time. Wonderful going, De Sosa. Let me see what Barrow is saying. Biodegradable means it can be broken down in the environment naturally using decomposers, and non-degradable means non-degradable means the waste don't decompose naturally. They are not safe for the environment. Thank you very much. Those are perfect answers. I like them. Great. So we move on, but I want you always to remember that our chief pollutant, I was waiting on your answer there, they would be plastic, paper, metal, glass, and textile. And both students who are doing biology and HSB should know this. My question to you, the next question that you're going to draw on that inferential scale, why is there a need for proper garbage disposal? Why do we need to have this conversation? Is it worth it? Or is it that Mr. Wilson wants to have some watch time, so he's wasting your time this evening? Why is it that we need to have proper garbage disposal? Tell me in the chat. Great. So as you tell me in the chat about proper garbage disposal, I want you to keep in mind the importance, the importance, yes, that's what it is. The importance of rats, mice, flies, mosquitoes. I want you to keep those in mind as you try to answer this question as to the need that there is for proper garbage disposal. And I'm waiting in the chat for you to tell me. Sorry, I'm missing class these days. Jawawan, it happens to the best of us. All right, great. So it will not cause disease. That's a big answer, a really broad answer. Could have been a little more, could have been a little, should I say, a little more specific, and then we could probably build on that, that we can attract that four mark type of thing. Prevent diseases. All right, great. So it's very important that we think about garbage disposal or proper disposal, because like everyone would have said here, it could cause disease that could probably cost our lives. We have to think about diseases like typhoid. We have to think about diseases like cholera. And we understand that while the fly is there and that remain from your house is in that garbage and it probably is not properly covered, then we have flies start breathing. And once that starts happening, then we understand that the fly is a vector. And of course, you are now at risk. Even though the garbage bin is on the outside, you are at risk on the inside. Now, another thing about prevent vector-borne disease, great. Another thing about having the conversation around proper garbage disposal is that the garbage could serve as a breeding site for rats. And you understand that rat will carry the plague. And you understand that mice could also find a way in the garbage because they're in search of food and shelter and water and mate. And you understand the flies are already there and they're having a grand party. And then another thing is that the water that settles in this garbage is a perfect breeding ground for the Anopheles mosquito, which spreads dengue. Great. So you understand that this conversation around garbage disposal is very, very important, particularly for our health and for the health of our neighbors. You would have seen Rosie somewhere on TV or social media talking about this type of water never come down here and the baby have meningitis and the baby come from wherever. Because everyone, it doesn't really matter who you are, what school you went to, you understand that if proper hygiene is not maintained, then the possibility of you being exposed to a pathogen is extremely great. Hi, good night. Kelly from Guyana. Hi, Kelly. Welcome to the show. Please be reminded to like, share, and of course subscribe. Call on all your friends, all your classmates. We have about 3 classes left, unless well, 3 classes left. I can't see 3 classes. All right, great. So we move on with the content, and we're going to be having a great time. But tell me before I move on to the possibility of water pollution if garbage is not properly disposed. Tell me, have you seen my last 3 videos? I've sent out a video on. Can you help me? I sent out a video on components of the blood. Components of the blood. I sent out one today on immunity. I think that one is really good. The immunity one, I think it's really good. So it would have meant that it's 3 times now I'm doing immunity with you. But for those persons who still didn't get that latch on immunity, it is impossible for you to watch that video that I sent out today and not have immunity lock. Remember, immunity is on every multiple choice paper. Everyone. I sent out another one. I sent out the blood, the components of the blood. Okay, guys, I remember now. Uh, Guys, persons who are doing HSB, this is particularly important for you. Based on the textbook that I have seen, I don't know if it's all textbook. The HSB syllabus requires you to know the difference between serum and plasma. It's not in the textbook. We did not cover it on the show. I told you to read, but I'm sure you didn't. So we did a video on serum and plasma. We think that it's a good coverage of it, but you can go there, watch, and tell us. There are some persons who have been providing feedback on the other videos that we have uploaded. All right. Good day, Ellis. How are you doing? All right, Kelly. I already started watching your videos. The first one I watched was based on nutrition. Great. And I must say, I learned a whole lot from watching. Great. We're impressed. All right. Plasma versus. Okay, great. So there, Barrow would have watched the video. So great. We continue to put out videos every day. I don't know the persons who are following Mr. Wilson, but I have a trivia question, and then I'm going to get back to my lesson now. Which day within my publication I did not put out a video? Give me the date. Which day I did not put out a video? Let me see if I have any real fun here. Organic waste is material that is biodegradable and comes from plant and animal. Example, food waste, landscape, and of course, pruning. That is wonderful, Felix. Felix, you come back out good. You come out nice and clean. That's what we would have said in Jamaica. You come out really nice with this one. All right, great. So nobody knows what the other week I did not put out a video. So I really don't have any big fun here. All right, let me see. Somebody, I see that persons are leaving now to do the research, but let's move on. So the problem of garbage disposal, it is something for us to really pay attention to, because we've outlined the whole idea of being exposed to diseases. We have just said that water pollution is an eminent possibility if garbage is not properly disposed of. How do we correct this proper garbage disposal at home? So it begins at home. You are not going to store it. In a matter of fact, I don't know. Tell me in the chat, at home, how do we manage our garbage? At home, in Guyana, Ellis, is it Ellis? Kelly, tell me how you manage your garbage. Where's Tanisha? Tanisha is from Guyana as well. Otisha, where are you? All right. So I want you to tell me in the chat there, how is it that you manage your garbage at home? What date that was? That was what date? You went to check the channel. Yes. Okay, all right. Let me just make this a little more difficult for you. Removing the recycle and the reduce and the refuse and all of that. How do you not how you should, how do you manage your garbage at home? You can open this for me, please. Thank you. How do you manage your garbage at home? All right, let us see if there's any best practice out there or there's anything that I need to learn. How do we manage our garbage at home? So we are looking at the management of garbage at home. Then we are going to look at the transportation. Then we are going to look at the landfill. Yeah. All right, so I am waiting on that answer. How do we manage our garbage at home? Whatever you consider management to be. No. Oh. How do you manage your garbage at home? That's the question. All right, as a lot of persons are, okay, great, something coming in here. We will put them in garbage bags and wait for the garbage truck to come and pick them up. Unfortunately, if they don't come on time, the dogs here, oh, it's the same thing in Jamaica. The dogs here will scatter the garbage all over. Great. That's a nice one. Cover garbage bins. That is very, very good as well. You have to ensure. Do decompose. I've never heard about decompose heap, but I've heard about compost heap. That is why we have this type of class. It's really called a compost heap. All right, and actually decomposition take place there. All right, so do decompose heap in backyard for organic waste. Please move from decompose heap to compost heap, but within the compost heap, decomposition take place. All right, we burn burn the garbage. Oh, let's hear pollution. All right, we'll get back to that. If that's what you do, that's what you do. We are going to treat with that. All right, proper disposal by put them in bags and place them in a covered garbage bin. A garbage bin that is tightly covered so that it will not allow the entry of flies. The dogs here have plenty sense. These creatures, they remove a cover off the bins. I tell you, they are hungry probably. Bury the garbage. That's another good one. Separate garbage in different bags. Bans, where are you? Where in the Caribbean are you? Tell me, please. Where in the Caribbean or where are you? That is sort of not something that I do here in Jamaica, and most persons would do. But tell me where you are that you would do that, because I really need to know about your garbage management system in your country. All right, separate garbage in different bags and put it in garbage bin for the garbage truck to collect. Okay, great. All right. Good evening. Hi, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Please be reminded to like, share, and of course subscribe. Okay. So bands, I think Tanisha and Otisha, they are doing some marketing in Guyana. They have always been here. They are here with me for a year. Welcome to the show, guys. We're very happy to have you. And we want the grade 10 students to come on over because, okay, we have a lot of Guyanese here. Great. We want the students in grade 10 to come on over. More so, I'm going to be publishing something on the labs for HSB. So please invite all your junior students to come on over. All right, great. I've seen a lot of things here which are really, really correct. The practices as we move from place to place will be different, but they are somewhat similar and pretty much in line with what is supposed to be done. So what we need to do, we should not leave garbage in the house during the night. You don't want to just throw the garbage in a box that flies will have access to. You want to ensure that the garbage is in a bin that is covered, tightly covered so that flies will not get in. Now, you want to also ensure that that waste, as much as possible, is out that the garbage truck can pick it up at least once per week. All right. Now, organic waste must be handled with care. I don't know if anybody here they work with solid waste or that type of thing. It must be handled with care. Why must be handled with care? It's because it is the perfect breeding site for pathogen. So you really don't want to be handling the garbage and next week you have a fungus or next week you have a skin infection that you really can't treat with. So once it's garbage, whether it's your garbage, your refuse, or otherwise, you need to ensure that it is taken care of with great care. Another thing with garbage is that they tend to give off unpleasant odor. So you want to ensure that you sort your garbage properly so that you can bury those that should be buried, like the organic remain from the kitchen peel and so on. And those that are not biodegradable, then probably you want to have them all sorted for the garbage truck. And those that you can recycle, you go about and recycle them. And those little soda bottle that you would have purchased and you need to send back to the company, don't be one of those spoiled child to say that I have money, I am not going to sell a bottle for $5. Think about the environmental footprint that will be left by that bottle, which we already said that is one of our major pollutants. So we want to get that all packed away in a crate and ship it to the site that it should be shipped to. Now, there are some stress of modern living. And it is because of the stress of modern living why we tend to produce so much. Because if I go to the supermarket and I pick up a soap that is not packaged in 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 paper, like carbolic soap, which is properly packaged. And if you remember when we spoke about carbolic and the antiseptic nature, you know that carbolic is probably one of the best soap on the market. I am getting no money to advertise carbolic, but of course we have to talk the facts here. We have to speak the truth here. Now, another thing is that those heavily packaged paper soap, when you go to the supermarket, you want to buy one of those that have all the several papers wrapping it and the fancy ink and colors and all of that. And you're not thinking about the problem that you're causing in the environment to get rid of that waste. Now, because of this modern social pressure, it causes us to produce a lot of waste. It causes us to produce a lot of waste. And as our affluence, as we become more wealthy, we tend to produce more garbage. So it is probably true to say those with wealth are causing more problem to the environment than Mr. Wilson, who is at the carbolic level. Now, another thing with the stress of the environment is that we tend to consume a lot of fossil fuel because of the stress in the environment. Everyone must have a car. I can't take the bus to work. And we are just using and depleting the resource so fast, faster than it can be replenished, so that we find ourselves now so heavily dependent on non-renewable resource fossil fuel. How do we curtail this problem of the overproduction of garbage, of the overconsumption of fossil fuel? There are three nice words that we are going to come up with. But they all start out with conserving and reusing the existing resource. Don't just go throw away everything. Oh, throw it away. Oh, throw it away. I can purchase another. We have to conserve and we have to reuse the existing resource. But what does it mean to reuse anything? Now, to reuse, and now I'm giving a definition as we're here. Sir, do you do any videos for chemistry and physics? I'm sorry, no, I don't do chemistry and physics. Physics, we do bio, HSB, and September we'll have a whole new slew. So watch out for ads, which will come out in short order as to what we'll be offering at tcpacademy.teachable.com. So we are going to have private classes there and a whole new different game. We're going to be teaching you using is it the 21st century? But the latest of teaching method, that's what we're going to be employing on the channel when you come to our website, providing you are going to be sharing with us come September. We are rolling out a new method of teaching, pretty much the type of teaching that they use in Q8. And Q8 has the highest dollar in the world. So you understand what we're doing. All right, great. So when we talk about reuse, we are talking about to use the item again. And we could use this item for the same or a different purpose. If we are reusing it, we could use it for a same or a different purpose. You need to document this information because there are times when you see these three words all lined out on the paper and you don't want you don't want to be in a position where you're not able to say what they are. So I'll repeat. To reuse simply means to use the item again. You could use the item for the same or different purpose, and this is pretty much like from your syllabus. Example, you could use a plastic bottle again to fetch whatever came in it, or you could use it to probably collect some water, that type of thing. But be careful of the labeling on the container when you reuse. The other thing we need to know about is to reduce. These are problems where we can, these are things that we can use to correct the heavy consumption of raw material. So we need to reduce, and to reduce, what it means is to acquire only what you need. If we acquire only what we need, then we are going to reduce on consumption. Avoid products that are overpackaged. All right. So you have a product, it comes in a big box, then a smaller box, then a smaller box, then a smaller box, then the individual box, and then in that individual box, it's wrapped with a plastic, and within that plastic, it's wrapped with a paper. Avoid those containers. All right. What they're going to do, they are going to cause, because of these packaging, they will of course cause life to be more expensive for those who will come in the future. Another thing we need to look at is recycle. What does it mean to recycle? To recycle, it begins with pretty much separating the waste into sets that can be used to make a new product. So when we are recycling, we are separating the waste into different packages, different group, different set, different bins in order to make new product. Now, it's important to know it's important to note that we use paper when we recycle things like paper, used paper, to make newspaper. All right. Now, if we are recycling paper to make newspaper, then it is only natural that we'll have to kill less trees to make paper. Remember that we are making paper from trees. So if we recycle paper, then we can use the paper to make, of course, newspaper. Can I tell you something else for the other students who are here? Newspaper, yeah, the newspaper, mix it with some molasses and some concentrate, and it is used to feed cattle. Can anybody tell me, bio or HSB student, if that makes sense to feed the same animal you call cow? All right, it's actually a cattle. Is it wise to feed the animal with paper? Does it make any sense? Yes, no? Tell me in the chat there. Now, in recycling, we also recycle metal. In most cases, the metal is pretty much crushed or flattened, and then they are melted, and then they are used to make new product. As to how this is done, it is going to be dependent on the type of metal. Again, these are going to be separated based on the type of metal, aluminum, blah, 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 and then they are sent to wherever. There we go. So paper is made from plants. Animals eat plants, so they can eat the paper. But the truth is, being a little more scientific, is that if you were supposed to test the newspaper by putting some iodine on it, you'll realize that the paper returns a blue-black color. That tells us that starch is in the paper. Next time you go to the lab, drop some iodine in your textbook or on a piece of paper, and you'll realize that it returns a blue-black color that suggests that starch is present. Another thing we need to look at outside of scrap metal, we need to look at things like organic matter, the kitchen peel and so on, things that are biodegradable. We could, of course, put these in compost heap, and of course, they will decompose to make what we call manure. Now, one might say humus. The manure is, of course, that which we refer to as organic fertilizer that is used as fertilizer when we are doing organic farming. So if we talk about organic fertilizer, it's pretty much the fertilizer that comes from the compost heap, or pretty much it could have come from a cave or something, but we're not going to go into that lesson today. Another thing, if we are dealing with animals like pig, we could pretty much channel the waste into a biodigester to, of course, be used as biofuel. fuel, or what we refer to as we could use it in what we call a biodigester. So we use that pretty much to provide fuel for the operation. Now, the advantage or the advantages of using reduce, recycle, and reuse, they are great. The advantages, a whole lot of advantages we could think about. They ensure that material lasts longer. And when we talk about material lasting longer, we're talking about the stock from the raw material. So rather than going into the forest and cut down all the Amazon to get some more trees to make paper, we wouldn't have to do that because we have been recycling. So the great need for paper, we wouldn't have had that. Now, when we cut that tree and we're using the board and the part that is all grind and the smaller part, we can compress them and use them to make plyboard and all of that. And that would reduce the need to cut down more trees. Another thing is that they lower the cost. When we recycle, when we refuse, when we recycle, reuse, and reduce, we also lower the costs for the generation that will come after. Another thing that it will do, it will, of course, create the need for less landfills. So you won't have any need for this whole lot of landfills because we are doing what we're supposed to do to reduce that demand for landfill. If we're doing these three things, another thing that comes up is that we are going to be generating a constant source of income. There will be a constant source of income because you can recycle and earn from the scrap metal. It's a booming trade in Jamaica. I mean, if you have a watch on your hand, probably it could go as a scrap metal. I don't know. So scrap metal is really big business. Persons are really raking in big bucks from scrap metal. Another thing that these practices will do is to ensure that there's less toxic substance entering the environment because we won't need to use these chemicals in order to manufacture the things that we need to replace those that were in the environment. We're recycling, we're reducing, all that. It's working like miracle for us. There will, of course, be less pollution if there is less pollutant, right? Another thing is that once we do these three things, we are going to have a safer environment for you, me, the neighbors, which are the animals and the plant, they all will be enjoying the environment. But there's no good without a touch of bad. All right, so we have some disadvantages when it comes to reducing, recycling, and what's the other word? Reducing, recycling, and reusing. Great. So there are some disadvantages. One, it is, of course, time consuming to recycle. Sometimes we don't really know what to do. All right? So it is time consuming to, of course, separate garbage. Another thing, it comes with added costs because we're going to need different vehicle. We're going to need different bins. So it comes with different costs to carry out the operation. We might need specialized equipment. There are some garbage truck that when they collect the paper, right there and then, the paper is burnt. We really don't have that in Jamaica. I'm not too sure if we have it in Trinidad or Guyana, but we really don't have that type of a garbage management system in Jamaica. Another problem with all this is the sorting. A lot of persons, even though it is so easy for us, a lot of persons don't understand how the sorting should be done. Outside of biodegradable and non-degradable material, we have to look at some other things. All right. In some cases, we have to look at things that are biohazard. We have to look at things that are carcinogenic. We have to look at things that are paper. They are going to go in different containers. We have to look at things like tin or metal. They are going to go in different sorting container. We have to look at bottles, be it plastic bottle or glass bottle. They must be sorted in different containers. So here you're learning how to sort. And then we have to think about the organic waste, which should, of course, go to the compost. And then we have to think about those that will decay. If they are going to decay too quickly and you really don't have any compost, you have to sort those different than you would have sorted those that will not decay because they are going to, of course, put up liquid and they are also going to be putting off this pungent odor. Now, the bins that you are going to use to sort them in, usually it is preferable that they are color coded and labeled. Color coded and labeled. To be color coded, those persons who are not so good with the word, the literature, the English, they are able to use the color to say what should be in this bin versus what should be in that bin. Let's dive a little deeper into biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste. Now, non-biodegradable waste material, we would have got that earlier, refers to those material that cannot be degraded. And of course, they have to be compacted, where they have to compact them when they get into that truck or when they get to the landfill site. Now, in order, when we do this, what happens is that it creates more space. Now, the biodegradable material, they are broken down by bacteria and fungi. And the purpose for doing this is that they help to recycle nutrient in the environment. And when you get to the exam and you are asked what's the importance of decomposers or what's the importance of bacteria and fungi, always remember that they help to recycle nutrient in the environment. For things that are biodegradable, they tend to use things like compost, and I've been saying that through the lesson. And when we're using a compost, the organic content is supposed to be covered, one, or buried. Remember, we are covering it or burying it so that we won't have any exposure where animals like the dogs and so on can go there and it becomes a nuisance or a breeding ground for other organisms. Now, I made mention of some trucks in probably the first world countries. They come with an incinerator, which means that as soon as they pick up that assortment of paper, it is of course burned. It is not sent to be recycled to be made in other paper that is not so much hazardous to human. Another thing is that some of the garbage is of course compact. And that which is compact is, of course, that we said before that cannot be decomposed. So we need to press it so that more can hold inside that truck when that truck comes to pick up. And of course, it will make less trip to the landfill site by just compacting the garbage so that we can save on some money going to the landfill site and we can reduce the carbon emission into the atmosphere. Now we move on into the landfill site. The landfill site. So the garbage having been picked up from your house, and that truck will take it to the landfill site. And at the landfill site, there are a number of things that are done that you need to have a good idea. Now, some of the things that happen at the landfill site, the garbage having reached some landfill site, again might be sorted and be redirected to different areas. Those that are not sorted to be redirected, they will be compacted, smashed, become smaller. Now, this refuse, of course, in some cases is buried in the landfill. So what they tend to do is to have some cavities dug in the landfill, and then, of course, the refuse is buried there. But let's just continue on track. The importance of landfill site is like, it is so important. I don't know if I can find words to explain that. No. No, the importance is that it makes it a landfill site makes it difficult for vectors to live. And what about the landfill site that makes it difficult for vectors to live is because there is this compacting of a garbage taking place. Now, so things, vectors like rat and mice, they are going to be having issues on a landfill site because there's continued compaction on the site. So you'll never really see a properly managed landfill site with a whole lot of rats and all of that because that is taken care of. Now, when we compact the garbage at the landfill site, it reduces the amount of waste and make management of the landfill site easier, right? You'd understand that if you crush something, you automatically get more space. Now, less space is, of course, needed if we compact the refuse that enters the dump. Another thing is that less space will also be required if we were supposed to bury the garbage. What are some of the equipment that is needed for a landfill site? They sometimes have some mills, and it's not the regular mill that you know. What these will do is tend to break down things more like in a powdery form or in a smaller form. And then this, of course, will enter the landfill. Now, having entered the landfill after the mill, whether we're going to recycle what goes to the mill or send it to the landfill, another thing that we have on the landfill are an equipment we refer to as a bulldozer. And this bulldozer usually come with spike wheels. So the wheels are not our regular wheels like on a motor vehicle and so on. On the landfill, it's made with wheels that have spikes, and the spikes on the wheel make it very, very easy for it to move up that garbage pile and to assist with the compaction. Outside of the spiked wheel bulldozer that helps to distribute the thing evenly across the surface, there's what we refer to as a roller, and most persons would have known a roller rolling the road when they are doing road construction. And on that roller, I tend to have like a hammer, a vibration. So I tend to vibrate the area that is rolling over so as to ensure that the garbage is properly compact and that area can be used for a long time. Remember, we don't want to go around and filling up the place with a lot of landfill site because they are unsightly in most cases and it is sort of land destruction. So it's sort of damaging the land. Another thing is that we tend to have what we call hydraulic compactors. And the hydraulic compactor, as it were, for motor car, they are sometimes called pancake flatteners. All right, or they are usually called pancake. And what they do is pretty much to crush that car to the smallest form, providing that the car is not picked up to be recycled, the metal, for the metal to be recycled. So a whole lot is happening at a landfill site. I would have taken my students to the landfill site in Kingston down by Riverton. There's a whole lot happening there. And I suggest that even though it's not the nicest place to go, if you're a human and social biology student, there are some field trips that you need to go on. You need to visit a sewage treatment plant. You need to visit a water treatment plant. And you need to visit a landfill site. All right? Now, remember, a landfill. The modern construction, and this is not something that I plan to teach today, but the modern construction of a landfill. For those persons who are in Jamaica, there is no real modern constructed landfill in Jamaica. And with that said, I'm going to ask you after the show, go to YouTube, type in landfill, and you'll see the proper design of a landfill. Because when I think about landfill, as things decompose in the landfill, there is a gas we call methane that is given off. This methane is flammable. And in most cases, when the dump site, the landfill, whatever it is called, becomes really, really hot because of the sun, it could ignite this gas and, of course, send the dump in a blaze. All right. So modern landfill, they are built with vent pipe. They are built with collection air to collect what we refer to as a leachate, so that the leachate will not go through the soil to, of course, pollute the groundwater. So there are some things about modern landfill sites that are really, really different than the old sites that we are accustomed to. So the construct of the regular landfill site that we have, like in Jamaica, it could mean that the topsoil is removed, like when we are about to mine for bauxite. The topsoil is removed and it is stockpiled. And it is stockpiled that when we're finished with this landfill area, it can be covered with that soil and it's not left bare and unsightly. In some cases, a pit, like I said earlier, is dug. And of course, what happens is that the truck will pretty much move on over to that pit and it will just tip in that pit. And again, we are going to cover and compact and that type of a thing. Now, the land that is used for mining, as in bauxite mining, when it leaves this real big cavity in the ground, usually these areas are used for landfill, right? And as soon as it is all filled, the landfill is all filled, then it is covered with topsoil. Now, in some cases, this area being covered with topsoil is used for things like a golf course, or in some cases, it could be used for a park, like for planting trees and so on. But it is usually used and not left bare. There are some issues, however, with landfills. And some of the issue with landfill is that they cannot be constructed near to home. Or should I say, based on what we know about Riverton City, they should not be constructed close to homes. They must be close to the site of garbage pickup. So you really don't want to have your landfill area in Montego Bay and you're picking up garbage in Kingston. That is going to leave too much pollutant with the vehicle traveling that far, and also it's going to be a very expensive venture. So wherever there is garbage being collected, usually the landfill is close by. Another thing, another drawback to landfill is that, of course, they produce this methane I spoke about earlier. And if it is not properly managed, this methane could be ignited. And then you understand, probably you have to lock down the city or lock down the area close to the landfill. Another thing about landfill is that they produce really bad odor. And because of this bad odor, a lot of persons really wouldn't want to be close to it. So that is a problem. Those are some problems in setting up landfill sites. Though they are so good for your health, they are really not the best friends to have close by, right? And we need to look at these issues that would have limited the whole concept of having a landfill within a town. And of course, even though it is well managed, you will never ever truly get rid of all the vector that are visitors to the landfill site. Now, while landfill is probably a popular thing in corporate area or urban areas, landfill is not so much a popular feature of a rural setting. And there are a number of reasons why a landfill would not be the popular thing in rural setting. And some persons might incinerate, or what we refer to as burn the garbage, and some persons might bury the garbage, and some persons just have this spot that they just put the garbage there. Now, some of the reasons, there are three big reasons I can think about now. One, if the garbage truck was supposed to come in your community where you have this dispersed settlement, one person lives here and another person lives a mile down the road and another person lives 2 miles down the road, it would be too expensive. Another thing is that the amount of garbage that is being generated in rural setting is way less than the amount of garbage generated in the town area. So to go on with a truck to do this type of a collection would not be practical, neither would it be feasible. Now, I spoke about the space of the settlement. That is also a major problem. So there are three key problems with collecting garbage in rural areas where we really don't have a lot of persons. One, it is expensive to collect the garbage. Two, the houses are too far apart. Three, the amount of garbage generated is really too small for us to consider taking that route of garbage collection. That brings us to a very important part of our show. I am going to leave with you before I go the videos that I consider to be prudent for your success. We have been looking and trying and trying. We know that immunity will be on the exam. And like I have said, if you watch this video, 11 minutes and 14 seconds, on immunity and you can't master immunity in the exam, then we will have a problem. You might need further help. CXC might be a challenge for you if having watched this video, you continue to have issues. All right, so my computer is giving me some trouble here, so I might be having issues. All right, it's not giving me that. Not too sure what's happening, but I'm really happy that we all join. We have 3 more classes on Sunday. I will be doing uh, water pollution. No, on Sunday it's not water pollution. On Sunday, I'll be doing sewage management. So we're going to be looking at the different ways in which we manage sewage. And we're also going to be look at ways in which we treat water. So we're going to be doing water treatment, and we're going to be doing sewage treatment and management. We're going to be looking at the filtration and the entire gamut. These are usually found somewhere about question 5 or 6 on the exam paper. There I would have posted for you the link to the immunity. Now, please be reminded, if you have not subscribed and click that notification bell, you are not going to be getting the videos that are geared at success. That's what we call it. We've been looking at some questions that are always on your exam paper. We have also been doing our reflection on the lives that we have done. We have been looking at how well you master the content. And if we think that it was not well done, we try to find a video or to make a video that should better suit your need. Now, just give us some feedback having watched the videos if it worked. If it did not, just let us know. Sewage management is in the bio syllabus. I'm sorry, sewage management is not in the bio syllabus. It is HSB. However, it wouldn't hurt if you have nothing better to do than to join the class. So no, sewage is not in the bio syllabus. So Sunday, we will bring down the curtains on sewage and water treatment, and come Sunday. And come Wednesday and Friday, we might have an extra class next week. I'm not too sure because we have the future to cover in HSB. That is where we are going to be looking at the insulin production. That is where we are going to be looking at the population graph or the population pyramid, which most persons in this room will not cover for the exam. But we are going to be doing it. I am going to be doing it. I'm going to be doing the population pyramid come next week, Wednesday. And of course, I'll have a question on the population pyramid that is a past paper question. I will release it that day or the day after or the day before. But we have questions on the population pyramid, which means that the population pyramid, of course, was featured on the exam probably more than once. All right, great. So we have just sent you the 3 latest videos that we have sent out. These videos are, of course, important for the students who are doing both subjects. More so, immunity. Immunity is also important to biology. Come to think of it, yes. Immunity comes to the first part, where I think when we look at blood, circulation, I think you do immunity there in biology, while immunity is a big topic now for HSB when we get to the back of the syllabus looking at disease. So you want to ensure that you watch these videos. Having watched the immunity video, you should be able to identify all the types of immunity. It doesn't matter how they put it. As you move to watch the video on immunity, I might just say these 2 things. I'll give you a heads up. If you see the word active being used to refer to immunity, active, it means that the antibodies are produced within you or within the person. Once it is active, the antibody is being produced in you, right? Or the affected person. If you are seeing passive, if you are seeing the word passive being used with immunity, it means that the antibodies are given to you. So if it is active, you are producing it. If it is passive, the antibodies are given to you. Right? So we are going to, if we are going to compare the two, we are going to be comparing active and passive. Other things that we can compare would include artificial and natural. So artificial, intentionally done by man. and natural, you understand it's organic. We could also compare acquired and innate. Now, if it is innate, it means that you were born with it. If it is innate, you were born with it. If it is acquired, you got it after you were born. So whatever way they mix this immunity on the paper, we have given you pictures. I have given you a short animation on the thing. We have given you the text and almost all the slides. We would have, of course, reminded you what it means when you see active, what it means when you see passive, what it means when you see acquired, what it means when you see innate. We have please be mindful. The last part of the video has a sand snake. All right, we try to put one there that won't scare you, but there's a brown snake on the last slide, and there's a little boy in the last slide that we think that probably could have been exposed to something like a snake bite, and he's been treated with anti-serum. Now, this anti-serum that we speak about in immunity, we just did a video on that. I think yesterday we published that, and the link is here as well. That looks at serum and plasma. There are many videos that we're going to be sending out before exam. We are working on blood vessels. That is like for grade 10, because by now we think you know the blood vessels. It is the vein that has the valve, and it is the capillary that carry both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. All right, and you know that the arteries, they have thick wall and they carry blood under high pressure. There are some misconceptions. If you want to find misconception on the circulatory system, just type it into Google and you'll see some. There are some online that you can see the misconception. Before I go, just let me ask you one other thing. What color is deoxygenated blood? Oh, biotic and abiotic, that is like the easiest thing. Yes, if you were supposed to go to we have a video, it's a lab video, a video on the quadrat. If you were supposed to go to our channel and look for the video on the quadrat, it is nice to explain, and while you are doing that sampling, the animation, you are going to have a good experience of biotic and abiotic. But being that you would have asked that, I might just say to you that biotic refers to the living component of your environment. That would include all the relationship like predator-prey, disease, parasitic, all of those relationships, those would have been biotic. All the things that you studied when you spoke about symbiosis, predator-prey, mutualism. I don't know if you have done forces and those type of stuff, but all of those would have been biotic. Once you talk about abiotic, don't say that it's the things that are dead, because when we do that, students tend to write Dex and Chair. Dex and Chair is not abiotic. All right. When we talk about abiotic, we're talking about the physical component of the environment. The easiest way to remember these are things that we have interest in when we are studying geography, right? So we could talk about the shape of the land, right? And the shape of the land, we look at we call it the topography. We could talk about wind speed. We could talk about humidity. We could talk about temperature. All of these things are we could talk about rocks. All of these things are things that are captured in the physical or the abiotic component of the environment. Please do not refer to the abiotic component of the environment as being non-living. The wrong way to look at it. This is probably one of the times that you can't say living and non-living. All right? Because in fact, the abiotic factor or the physical factor, it has nothing to do with non-living as you would understand it to be. So don't use that, because if you use that, it's going to throw you off. Right? It refers to the physical component, and the easiest way to remember are all those stuff that we study in geography, right? That has to do with the environment. All right, yes, the deoxygenated blood is red. I wanted to ensure that the misconception does not exist that the blood is blue, because the blood is not blue. All right, so we have to bear that in mind. All right, any videos on community on continuity and variation? Yes, we have videos on continuity and variation. I suggest that you go to the back end of my channel and select the playlist that says genetics. You'll find a video there. I'm sure we have a nice video that actually looks at, we looked at the graph, both graph, the histogram and the bar chart, and we actually explain there how it is that they are used. So of course, continuity and variation is covered. And of course, you should have known by now that that's one of the lab that you are expected to do for your CXC biology. So just go to the back end of the channel. How do we get to the back end of the channel? There is a blue icon below the video here that says CSET Biology TCP. Click on that icon, it will take you to the back end of the channel. And there you can click on videos, or if you want to find a playlist, you could go into playlist and look for that genetics playlist. And it should have all the genetic stuff that we have, that we are supposed to cover on the syllabus. I think we did everything there. But nonetheless, we are going to be doing genetics next Friday. We said 3 other shows, but it's actually 2 other shows. Wednesday and Friday. I don't know how I'm going to get another show, but we're slated to have 3 shows. I'm not sure, but we have some genetics to deal with. We have done genetics about 3 times, but we still want to wrap it up. I did speak about in one of the past papers. Look at the past papers that we have done, because we did targeted questions on the past paper. It's not just working out a past paper. We looked at some questions that we thought that these are questions that you need to be able to answer. You need to pay attention to that, because you might be looking for some notes or looking for some content. It might be on the past paper. For example, when we looked at trisomy, that is Down syndrome with chromosome 21, you have to know that if you are doing HSV, that when we look at Down syndrome, trisomy, it's called trisomy or Down syndrome, and it's found on chromosome 21. So when you see these 3 little dots on that micrograph, that 3 little dot circle, that is for the Down syndrome. And you can use context clue to answer the question. We did do a past paper on that. So if you check our past paper listing, you should find something on, of course, trisomy Down syndrome. All right. Let me see here, sir. I don't want to seem like I am asking too many questions, but I'm just curious and anxious at the same time. So bear up with me. Oh, that's fine. I tend to like when students ask questions, because it tends to gear our production and help us to plan how we teach and what we teach. All right. Another thing, Kelly, any videos on transport? Transport. Circulation is transport. And yes, we have some early videos on transport, and you are going to see the circulatory system. I am not too sure if we have videos on, do we have videos on xylem, phloem? I don't think we do. All right. I don't think we have any videos on the xylem and the phloem vessel, our transporting plant, so to speak. But it's not too late for us to do that. And once the thing about it, we have been doing a lot of HSB because we've completed the bio syllabus sometime now. So we have been working really, really feverishly to cover the HSB syllabus, and we are pretty much in a good space. All classes after today, with the exception, I can't finish the syllabus. I'm supposed to take 2 classes to do the future, and I need another class to do sewage. So I really need 3 more classes. I really need 3 more classes, guys, to finish the syllabus. I really need 3. I can't take 2 classes to finish the syllabus. I really need a minimum of 3 classes. I missed a class, so we are out 1 class, so that's a problem. All right, let me see what's happening here. So we have not done anything on transporting plants. We did a past paper question on the lymphatic system, which is enough to cover the lymphatic system. Yes, we did that. We did circulation, a lot of animation on circulation. We would have done that. We looked at the heart. You need to know the major blood vessels, guys. Please be reminded, you need to know the major blood vessels. And the only thing we did not do in circulation for HSB that we would have done now is the video that we just sent you on plasma and serum, right? We did not do that one when we did circulation. So now we are sure that we covered the entire syllabus, as it were, for circulation for HSB. We did not do a video for the transport system for plants, but I'm sure that there's a live on the transport system. So if you look among the live, you should be able to find something on the transport system. Sir, okay. Another thing, are you going to do the HSB May June 2019 paper 2? We have no problem in doing it. We have the paper 2. It's just a matter of time. Definitely, if it's a biggie, we will send it out. I'm not too sure if we even produce it. Anybody can tell me, did we do 2019? We did 2020. Oh, no, no, no. We did the multiple choice paper 2019. Sure, we could do the 2020. We could do the 2019. I'm sure we have it. Somebody would have sent it to us. So that's one of the things we wanted to do while we're cutting our classes earlier, that we can work on some past papers, and you still can mail us because I'll still be here. So we will be looking at that, working some more paper tools. I do hope that those that we have sent out, you have done your checks and all of that, and everything is fine. We're willing and happy to listen to what you have to say. So feel free to communicate with us. We always answer our questions, providing that, yeah, there are questions within our realm. All right. Anything on meiosis and mitosis? I did a live on meiosis and mitosis, but we are going to be doing a video on, what's the name of the thing? What's the difference? What's the difference? What's the difference? That's a short video. The videos that we've been saying. So we're going to do a video on what's the difference, and in what's the difference, that should help. But we did send out a question last week, didn't we, on meiosis? We sent out a past paper question, I think last week, on meiosis. It's a single past paper question we sent out. So, of course, we're going to be doing mitosis and meiosis as what's the difference. So, you're going to get them on the same thing. We're currently working on hypertension and diabetes. We're comparing them, sending them out, and what's the difference, just the same. What's the difference video is no longer than 12 minutes. We wanted them to be 10 minutes and below. And the truth is, the video itself, outside of the ads on the video, is less than 12 minutes. So our videos for what's the difference is supposed to compress the thing, pretty much put it in a format that within 10 minutes or less, you are able to tell the difference and pretty much have enough information to answer a question. You can watch and tell us what you have found out based on what we would have sent out. Any other questions or concern? All right, until you get us the other questions, we are going to be rolling out some advertisement for my online school, which is, of course, TCP dash. Let me just put it in the chat for you. All right, so we have an online school. We are working on the whole setup and all of that. And it's going to be a wonderful structure. I tend to come up with really, really nice ideas. So for those persons who will come after you, because all of you will pass, those persons who will come after you, if it's a topic that you want us to do with you, you can pay and get it done. If it is a lab that you want us to do with you by your HSB, of course, we can treat with that. You know that I have like all the labs on my channel. The live will be there for the entire year. If it's a class, you want a single class, if you want the entire package, it will be a flexible room. Of course, you'll be able to reach me because you know I'm always on YouTube. So when we send those ads out, we're going to ask you to do us a favor by posting the ads in your WhatsApp status that it can reach as many persons as possible. We should be rolling out those ads come next week, and we have a nice background that we're going to be sharing with you for those ads. All right, so we really, really need your assistance. Remember, we gave it to you this year, one entire year of teaching, free. One entire year of teaching, we gave that to you free. We will continue to offer some free classes next year, but put it this way, you guys were the fortunate guys. You got actually 3 classes per week free. When we started out, it was supposed to be 1, and then we went to 2, and we went to 3. But next year, we won't need to do that. We're going to be looking at zeroing in on some topics. We're going to be looking in at the report from CXC. I've tried to look at to find the report for 2020 and of course 2021. There's no report on the site. The 2019 report is there. I will look at the 2019, being that it is the last exam outside of 2021 that students did both paper. So I'll look at the 2019 report to see if there's anything that we need to brush up on before we get into the exam. If there's something to brush up on, I will come on probably with a live and say something, but it won't be content because, like I say, within the next 3 class, the syllabus, we would have completed the syllabus, and all these lessons are there in the live. Sir, I am doing heredity and variation. They are doing heredity and variation now. So if you are doing heredity and variation, what exactly are you doing? Because we have all that covered on the syllabus we have all the genetic diagrams on the channel. All the genetic diagrams that you are supposed to do, we have done them all. We have done the Punnett squares, we have done the regular cross, we have done the pedigree chart better than you would have seen in your exam, in your textbook, because we have actually explained exactly how you get A, B, C, D, how you got everything. We went through all the symbols and we gave you all the explanation that is needed. It's not well consumed, but if you look at our pedigree chart, you should master pedigree chart thereafter. Sir, are you going to do information technology? It's a great possibility that we could, if we have a number of subscribers, we could. We have great teachers that we have can teach, and of course, you understand that you only will be seeing the best teachers because your money will do the talking. We definitely can't build a brand with persons who are incompetent. So that's a real possibility. I'll have some dialogue with my brother. My brother is a maths teacher. He has a master's in maths, and he has been teaching for longer than probably my life. Not so long, about 25 years. So I'll have some conversation with him. And of course, I'm seeing that somebody probably signed up just now for Teachable. But we're going to be sending out everything. We are going to ensure that you have enough content on our channel and what we're going to be doing there. We want you to advertise for us. That's probably the least you could do for us to ensure that we have success when we get started. All right. So information technology. Oh, and my son would have actually provided me a whole lot of content for information technology that should have been uploaded. He's a little whiz, so I think he wanted to do that part. And then I have another little boy who is like a physics whiz. He's a physics and maths whiz. Um, these are kids though, but they are really good. I mean, these boys are like straight A profile boys, so they really know that stuff, right? So they might be in some of the rooms that you are in. They're not really extrovert like Mr. Wilson, and I want to say hi. All right. So that's pretty much it from me for this evening. If you have any other concerns, you know that you can just send them on YouTube or send them to my email address that is on the YouTube page. And of course, we'll answer. Anything else that I need to do or you don't understand that you're covering now in class, you can send us a message and we will look at it if we need to build a video to assist you, because the problem that you're having, a lot of persons are having, and we don't have any problem assisting you. Oh yes, on the Teachable channel you have to pay, but it is cheap, 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 cheap. On the Teachable channel, it is cheap, 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 cheap because there are different offerings. There is self-paced where you can go in and be taught just by videos. There is live tutor, that is the expensive one. The live one, like the individual one, that's a live. But it's like cheap as about 20 US thereabout. Calculate 20 US wherever you are. That's less than you pay to attend classes wherever you are. All right, so it's not like I'm going to charge a kill. I think the price is about 20, 25 US thereabout. All will be on the channel soon. I know that a lot is not there now. We're just loading information to the website. So it's going to be very cheap. It's going to be very, very cheap. Trust me. It's going to be very, very cheap, right? And of course, one of the beauty about the channel is that all the past papers will be there, worked. The answers will be there. The blank paper will be there. So you will have access to that at your leisure. Where you need videos, we are going to provide videos. We are going to do the animation. You know that we do animation, we do lab, we do just about everything. So that will be there as well. As we're from maths, IT, these are in demand. We're going to look at those and definitely we'll try to introduce those. I really don't know any strong physics and chemistry teacher. I know one chemistry teacher, but I don't even know where to access that chemistry teacher now. But if we can find good teachers, we'll offer the program. If we can't find good teachers, we won't. They have to be A class teacher, A class with top teaching skills. All right. So yeah. All right, RJ, why did you delete there? Yeah, you have to pay. I think that's what. No, not you asked that. Uh, internet problem will look at internet problem. We'll look at the video. All right. That's a nice thing about the online teaching, as it were. As for my channel, just like you are never out of touch at YouTube, you will never be out of touch with the content because the content is always going to be there. And in some cases, some of the content might be on my YouTube channel. Some of the content might be on my YouTube channel. Like probably you'll find half of a past paper on the YouTube channel, you'll find the entire thing on the website. So it promises to offer a whole lot. All right, so that's going to be it for me this evening. Thank you very much for stopping by. I do hope that you will enjoy your weekend. Today is Friday. Oh, yeah, we have 3 classes. I'm thinking that today is Sunday. Enjoy your classes, and I'll see you on Sunday for sewage and water treatment. You answered the question. Uh, Okay, I'm sure that you expected us to charge some money. I mean, we have been teaching 1 year free, and we are going to continue to provide some support. But of course, you understand that we have to rake in something to keep this thing going and ensure that we want good cameras. Look at what we're showing now. We need good cameras, we need good gadgets. I mean, we are not financed by anyone, we're not subsidized by anyone. So we have to ensure that the product gets better and that we can assist more persons to grow. So we want a better picture quality. We want a better sound quality. All right. We want to be able to capture real thing. I'm going outside to do a lab. I want to be able to carry a camera and capture it properly that you can see. We're slowing down this thing that science have more meaning to us now. So that's what we're doing. I'm packing in 13 years of teaching experience into what I do. 13 years of teaching experience. A CAPE subject that will be offered is environmental science. Additional subject that will be offered, we're sure. Agriculture is on the list. Agriculture, biology, HSB, keep environmental science, and we look at IT and mathematics. All right, once we have the numbers, we'll go and offer them. We have great English teacher as well. I'm doing biology. I am not HSB. Will the class on Sunday benefit me? On Sunday, we're going to be doing sewage. Sewage is not. If sewage is not a big topic on the biology syllabus, it would have been just to talk about pollutant that comes in section A of the syllabus, I think. But it's not a big topic on the syllabus. But like I would say to anyone, it's a science topic, and you don't know where life will take you as a science student. So if you have time and you can stop by, human and social biology just teaches us how to live. And if you really want to be able to manage your surrounding and understand carefully or understand well what happens, it might be a good class. But if you have something better to do, probably you could do that. But HSB is the big thing for sewage. Sewage is the big thing for HSB. All right, so enough said. Good evening. Please be reminded to like, share, and of course, subscribe. See you on Sunday. Please be early. And remember to watch that interview that we did last Sunday with the author of the book. I think it's a real good interview. A lot was pointed out there. I think we went for an hour, but it's a real good interview. We're going to try to get other persons on the show to assist you with preparing and removing that anxiety heading into the exams. See? So you're getting a lot for free. We have to source these persons and bring them in. Right? So we want the thing to be better, and I'm sure you understand. Some of these students who are here when they pass the subject, they are going to be donating to the channel so that we can grow. I know that I don't have to ask. Persons normally see the need and assist. Somebody might very well send me a camera. Say, sir, you need a camera. That webcam that they're using not working. We're sending you a camera to make the thing better. I know that. All right. So take care. We're gone later. That's Jamaican.